Sportsmemo's betting podcast, NFL every game on the board with Teddy Covers. Happy Monday morning to you, Teddy. Welcome in.
Yeah. You got a case of the Mondays today, buddy?
A little bit. I got a little bit of the case of the Mondays, but of course, I'm not hitting it, near 90% since Christmas. So I know you're feeling good, man.
Yeah, well, I had a miserable run going into Christmas, and you hate to do that to your clients, and I hate to do that to myself. And I'm like, all right, I'm taking a couple days off. I'm not going to bet the Christmas Day NBA games, and we've come back and done really well the last couple of days. So glad to bounce back strong, put a little money in everyone's pockets over the last, 86% since. So it's been pretty good. And, easy big ticket winner yesterday, 5%er with the Ravens, and they, cashed by 3 touchdowns and weren't much of a sweat in that one. So, but that's all rearview mirror now, Drew. You know how it is in this game. I was bad, I was good, and now we'll see what happens moving forward. But I for what it's worth, I like these playoff games. I'll be in action this weekend, a fair bit. More might be more than usual. I got opinions on all 4 games, which isn't normally the case, and fairly strong opinions on 3 of them. So, and then again, it's not always the case. Come playoff weekend, sometimes you're scrounging around and trying to find one. And I know I'm going to be involved in 2, and I'm probably going to be involved in a 3rd. So let's get into it.
Absolutely. Teddy's winning. Unfortunately, Teddy, I was on the Redskins yesterday, and they let go of the ropes, so that plus double-digit underdog didn't come through. But otherwise, we can find some winners here on the playoff games. We got 4 of them. Wild card weekend starting off Saturday, January 4th here, Teddy. This is the NFL Opening Line Report podcast. We're going through all the games, where these lines are going, getting first thoughts from Teddy Covers. We got 141, 142 afternoon kick here on Saturday, January 4th. Buffalo at Houston, Teddy. Looking at Sportsmemo on screen right now, we got the Houston Texans -3 across the board right now at home, hosting the Buffalo Bills. 41.5 being the total right now, Teddy. What are you thinking?
Well, let's start with this, okay? During the regular season, we have look-ahead lines. Obviously, here in the postseason, we have no look-ahead lines for these playoff games. What I'm going to do is give you my power rating number for every game, and you're going to see basically my powering numbers in the markets. There's not a whole lot of differential at this time of the year. So we don't have look-ahead lines to work with. Frankly, the power ratings when it comes to NFL playoffs, they'll get you so far. They'll get you an opener. They're not necessarily going to help you win bets. So when it comes to actually breaking down these games, there's a lot of handicapping involved. And the numbers aren't necessarily going to point you in one direction or another. For example, right here, Buffalo, Houston, my powering number is Texans -3.5 against the Bills. And frankly, even that 3, I probably should be giving Buffalo a little bit of credit for their road success this season. They were able to go on the road, and that number could easily have been 3. Now, the markets are at 3 right now. I don't think it goes to 2.5. But the look ahead, the books that cater to sharp players, the leading indicator books, I've taken Buffalo money this morning. So it's still sitting at 3, the 3 even money, basically. I don't think they're going to see enough Bills money to send this to 2.5, and I'm confident we're not going to see enough Texans money to send this up to 3.5. So this line is likely to sit 3 with juice. They'll adjust the juice all week, but the point spread itself is not likely to move. Now, from an injury report standpoint, Buffalo's in decent shape. Houston has issues all over the place, and particularly at wide receiver, with Fuller and Stills as 2 very, very questionable players for this weekend. They've got questions in the secondary with Bradley Roby. They got J.J. Watt going to be back this week. Is Laramie Tunsil going to be able to play at left tackle? So Houston's injury report is very much in flux, and that report itself is likely to be the key driver of whatever moves we see off of this number right now. And that includes with the total. If we see Tunsil playing and we see Fuller playing and we see Stills playing, this total is going to go up. If all those guys are sitting and then J.J. Watt ends up playing or Bradley Roby comes in for Houston, this total is going to go down. So the injury report likely to affect the total in this game more than the side. Depends on if Houston's offensive stars or defensive stars are able to suit up. And if, on both sides of the football, We have issues with the Texans. We might see a little bit more Bills money than what we've seen, and it could come off of 3. But as of a first thing Monday morning look, it does not look to me like this line is likely to get off of 3 unless the Texans injury report is downright ugly.
All right, Teddy. First game in the books. We got the night game on Saturday. One of my favorite games all season in terms of just timing. Singled out Saturday night NFL playoff game. Talking AFC wild card playoff game here. We got 143, 144, 8:15 Eastern, 5:15 Pacific kick. Tennessee at New England. We're seeing 43.5 is the total right now, Teddy. Talking Monday morning here, 8 a.m. Pacific time. 4.5. That's the New England Patriots laying in Foxborough.
Yeah, my powering number for the game is 5, and that's giving the Patriots 3.5 for home field, which I don't normally do. But in the postseason, I think you got to give the Patriots 3.5 for home field. And that makes it 5, which means I'm a half point off the market right now. So again, from a power rating standpoint, there's not a lot here. Now we have seen a little bit of over money come in this ball game early on. You can understand why the Texans have been an over team. The Titans have been an over team. The Texans have been random when it comes to totals. The Titans not so much. The offense has been clicking for some time, and they're balanced. And again, the Patriots defensively, number 1 seed on the line, or a home field advantage, bye week on the line. They didn't have the number 2 seed on the line for New England. They need 1 stop against Ryan Fitzpatrick. They couldn't get it. I'm not expecting a groundswell of Patriots support this year. This team's been in the Super Bowl each of the last 3 years. Everyone knows how good New England is at home in December and January. And yet, even with that, there's more market disrespect for New England this year than I've seen in recent seasons. And again, we're showing it with the number. Opened 5, 5.5, and now it's down to 4.5 just about everywhere. So I don't know that it's going to go lower. All right, I'm not convinced this gets to 4. I don't think it gets to 3.5. I think we'll see two-way action at the books. This isn't going to be a one-sided game where all the money's coming Tennessee or all the money's coming New England. I think it's a two-way action game. But it feels 4.5 right here. And again, total's been bet up 43.5, the prevailing number. I don't know that it goes up any higher than that necessarily. We'll have to see what the weather forecast looks like. If it's a nice day, maybe we'll see a little bit more over money. Again, Tennessee's been an over team pretty well down the stretch, and they've been fantastic in the red zone, which is worth noting because the Patriots defense has been pretty good at holding teams out of the end zone, but not yesterday. That last touchdown drive for Miami surprised me as much as anything yesterday because New England wins that game. The Patriots team that go to Super Bowl don't give up that touchdown. And I think the markets are seeing that today with this Tennessee money.
We're talking with Teddy Covers on Twitter at Teddy_Covers. I am Drew Martin on Twitter at Drew Martin Bets. We got questions coming up at the end here. Thank you to all those that shouted out on Twitter. We'll read them out to Teddy after we break down the NFC games, which are starting Sunday, January 5th here. We do have a special coupon code for this podcast, the Opening Line Report podcast, and it's a big one, guys, for the rest of Teddy Covers NFL playoffs. That includes all the way throughout the Super Bowl with the prop package. We're taking $100 off of the retail price at sportsmemo.com. You can get the rest of his season for only $99. That's the NFL, and we're throwing in the college football season. So NFL, college football, rest of season for under $100 using the coupon code TC99 at checkout. That's TC99 at checkout. Sportsmemo.com. The rest of his NFL and college football season. No extra charges later. You'll get every play he releases in both college football and the NFL for only $99 using the coupon code TC99 at checkout. Sportsmemo.com. Teddy, we got Sunday's action here. NFC 145, 146, 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock Pacific kick. Minnesota at New Orleans. Looks like 47.5 or 48 being the total as we speak. Again, Monday morning here, opening line report. And we're seeing 7 in the hook or 8. And that's New Orleans laying in the Big Easy, Teddy.
Yeah, my numbers, New Orleans minus 8.5. My powering numbers, New Orleans minus 8.5 in this game. Although I probably didn't upgrade enough if Dalvin Cook comes back. He's worth a point to Minnesota, and he's obviously missed the last couple of games, and they have missed him the last couple of games. That said, and Cook is expected to be back this week for Minnesota, and that's why we've seen at least a little bit of money come for the Vikings so far. And of course, the Saints have been a one-score team all year, where they dominated the one-score games pretty consistently. Obviously, Minnesota and New Orleans have an interesting playoff history in recent years, which Saints fans will surely remember in a probably negative way. But it's been competitive, obviously, between these two teams. And, we talk about Zimmer catching points and more than a touchdown on the road. That's going to attract some betting attention. All that being said, Saints are the team to beat in the NFC, or one of the teams to beat in the NFC. Saints might be the team to beat in the NFC. And Minnesota isn't. And you're talking about Kirk Cousins in a meaningful playoff game against Drew Brees. And Kirk Cousins has shown us, even this season, that against the best defenses in the biggest games, he's not the QB who you want your money on necessarily. So, again, my powering number 8.5, but that's not factoring in Cook. And Minnesota certainly, with Cook back, has been a capable underdog this season. But 8 seems like a lot for any of these games, and yet at the same time, if the Saints play their A game, Minnesota's going to have problems here. We've seen a little bit of over money for this one already. Opened for as low as 46, 47 in most places. Now we're seeing 48s around the board, and then that's with Cook coming back and with the the Saints' ability to chuck the football around. And Michael Thomas with another big day yesterday, and another offensive explosion for New Orleans, but. This line's not going down to 7. It's not going up to 10. It's going to sit in this 7.5, 8 range, I would expect, all week. Little bit of over. I don't know that we see a whole lot more over money, but if there's one game that's going to get over steam, this is it. Remember, they're playing in a dome. No weather conditions to be concerned about.
Controlled atmosphere, absolutely, down there in the Big Easy, Minnesota at New Orleans. Teddy, we got one game left here for the opening line report. Then we're going to open it up 2 questions. We got 147, 148 afternoon kickoff on Sunday, seeing Seattle Seahawks -1.5 or -1 on the highway. They're in Philadelphia. Seattle at Philadelphia. 46 being the total here, Teddy. Interesting handicap here. Seahawks and Eagles. What are you thinking?
All right. So first of all, the very first question I want you to ask is a strength of schedule question, because I've never seen it. What we have for this game, and I'm going to save it until we do the strength of schedule question, because that's a great question. I appreciate it, because I spaced on it. How do you space on that? And of course, first thing in the morning you space on it. So I really appreciate it. Oh yeah, go look that up. That's a great question. When it comes to this game, a couple of books opened Philly's a favorite last night. Bookmaker opened Philly's a favorite. Westgate here in Vegas opened Philly's a favorite, and we've seen nothing but Seattle money, and the money on the Seahawks is going to continue. I mean, the Eagles injury report continues to be nightmarish. We're talking about a team that, what are they missing? Their top 3 receivers, their top 3 running backs, their tight ends. Is Ertz going to play this week? I don't know. Lane Johnson, their left tackle, going to play this week? I don't know. Their top cornerback, their top 2 cornerbacks are out. I mean, for Philly to get here, I'll give them all the credit in the world. That team had guts like nobody's business. But it's really hard for me to expect the Eagles, and again, the teams they beat 4 teams down the stretch of the season to get there, all divisional opponents from the weakest division in the NFL. So I'm not surprised that we're not seeing market respect for Philly. And Seattle, again, last night, they were beat and they fought, and the markets respect that a lot. And of course, Seahawks have been a real good road team all year. The markets respect that. Seattle's injury report isn't pretty either, but they had a bunch of guys finally play last night. Are we going to see Dwayne Brown this week? Don't know. Diggs? I don't know. But for a team that was missing 6 defensive starters 2 weeks ago, they were healthier last night, and they should be healthier this week potentially as well. And of course, when it comes to strength of schedule, again, this is the biggest. It's as big a disparity as you'll ever see. The money's coming for Seattle. I think we'll see more money for Seattle if you like the Seahawks. Let's get the emergency betting alert going. There's one. This is
Doodle-you?
Yeah, absolutely. If there's one, this is it. Because this, I mean, I don't want to try to create something that's not there. But Seattle is clearly taking money this morning, and it looks like they may take more money. So if there's, there are still ones out there with the Seahawks, not many, but there's still ones as we speak. We are recording early because we appreciate your feedback, telling us get this up right away. So we made sure we went early. One of the bad things about going early is that, is this going this way? Is it going to continue? I don't have as much info to base on, but it really looks like the money's coming for Seattle, and I would not be surprised to see more money for the Seahawks. The bottom line is I'm not expecting Philly money. There's not going to be Philly money in this game unless their injury report somehow looks magnificent, and that means that if you like Seattle, you bet them sooner rather than later.
All right, Teddy with the doodle-you. Doodle-you, breaking down the games. Teddy covers at Teddy_covers on Twitter. Guys, we appreciate your questions. Like Teddy said, and we're trying to get this up early each and every week. We will be doing it throughout the playoffs, all the way through the Super Bowl. And the special coupon code for this podcast, Teddy covers rest of NFL and college football season, all the way throughout the national championship, throughout the Super Bowl. We're throwing in his college football there. Use the coupon code TC99 at checkout for $100 off NFL college football full season service at sportsmemo.com. Coupon code TC99 at checkout. And of course, he's hitting 86% last few days since Christmas. 204 and 158. That's 56% in the NFL since 2015. That's last 5 years running, hitting over 56%. Last year hit 58%. And we're throwing in his college football season. That's including 35 and 24. That's 60% college football bowl games over the last 5 years. So he is seeing bowl games as well. He's got a bunch of bowl games up right now at sportsmemo.com. You can get all of those, plus all of his NFL playoffs throughout the Super Bowl, including the props package, for under $100 at sportsmemo.com. This is a great deal, guys. Check it out. Sportsmemo.com. Coupon code TC99 at checkout for the rest of his NFL college football full season. Coupon code TC99 at checkout. Teddy, some good questions here on Twitter. We'll read them out to you. At Drew Drewski, good question here. Can Teddy go through the strength of schedule trend? I believe it is for the two teams playing. The team who had harder strength of schedule was hitting at a 70% clip the last 10 years. Thanks.
Yeah, it's a great question. I realized I didn't give you my powering number for Seattle, Philly. It was Seattle -1.5 on the road at Philly. My New Orleans, and I'm not sure if I gave you my Saints, but Saints was 8.5 over Minnesota. But I didn't downgrade for, I didn't upgrade enough for Cook, was what was my thought. But Seattle was, my power number is 1.5 against Philly. That is an excellent question about the strength of schedule. And if you want a simple system that is, yes, I don't have the numbers in front of me. I know it hasn't worked as well in the last couple of years as it has over the last 20, but this is like a 70% system that is a pure system play, and it's cashed really well for a really long time. And it is simply, and again, the strength of schedule, I'm not a believer in Sagarin strength of schedule. I don't think it's an accurate representation of, I like my strength of schedule numbers better. I'll put it that way. And I haven't done mine yet, but I will do mine today. That's a must do at this time of year because I want those numbers.
And Teddy, can they get those numbers anywhere on Twitter, or is it part of your service? Or
hell no.
Okay. It's strictly to you. Okay.
That's my work.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like I won't share, but I'm not going to publish them. That's what's going to help me. So I apologize. I give you guys as much info as I can. I can't give you everything. I appreciate it. But the system is very simple. Yes, you take the team that had the stronger strength of schedule and you bet on them in the first round. When there's a differential of 10 in the Sagarin ratings, it's been really strong. And I wanted to talk about Philly, Seattle, because I've never seen this before. And I'm going to read you all 12 teams that are in. But Philly's 32 and Seattle's 1.
Wow.
I've never seen that.
Wow.
So we know
the biggest discrepancy there could be.
Yeah, that's the biggest discrepancy there is. I don't know that I buy Philly as a 32. I don't know that I buy Seattle as a 1, but that's a pretty strong discrepancy, and that ensures that it'll be Seahawks money. Even as we speak, there's another bet just came in at Seattle in one of the leading indicator books. So that's definitely happening. Minnesota, New Orleans. New Orleans is a 13. Minnesota's a 24. Again, that's a double-digit differential. That says Saints are the way to look in that game. The two NFC teams that aren't involved this week, San Fran is a 17. Green Bay is a 26. Again, these are ranked 1 through 32, the Sagarin strength of schedule numbers. In the AFC, there are pretty dramatic disparities as well. Buffalo, number 29. Houston, number 7. Okay. Wow. So that says that the Texans are the play in that game. Tennessee, number 23. New England, number 30. So of the 4, the only game that doesn't have a double-digit strength of schedule differential is Tennessee, New England. Again, Tennessee 23, New England 30. The Titans still have the edge in that ball game when it comes to who faced the tougher schedule this year and the teams that face the tougher schedule. Again, I don't have the numbers in front of me. I apologize. I know that it's 70% plus, and this dates back 20 years. It's not, you said 10 years. It's a 20-year sample size on this one. This has been a strong, but the last few years, it hasn't been as good. It hasn't been a disaster, but it hasn't been, you blindly bet these, they cash in. Worth noting, the other two AFC teams, Kansas City at 15, Baltimore at 22. And it's definitely worth noting, the teams that face the toughest schedules, the top 10 SOS, the only two, even the top 12 SOS, the only two that survived, Seattle and Houston. Those two teams you can say are truly battle-tested.
Man, great stuff there, Teddy. And is it fair to say if somebody buys the rest of your season here for under $100 using this coupon code, if they email in, we will send them your strength of schedule numbers?
Of course. I'm not like trying. If somebody really wants them that bad, I'm happy. But it's something that I'm going to use to make my plays. You understand? That's in the post. It's not something that I'm like, let's publish it out. And it's not anything I'm hiding, but it's absolutely a part of my postseason process. And what I do, of course, is I power rate. I use my strength of schedule stuff has everything to do with the power rating of their opponent on the week the game was played.
Right.
And that's how I work it. So that's something that's helped me a lot in seasons past. But I haven't gone through it again. It's first thing Monday morning. We'll get there.
And Teddy, that's why I asked, because your proprietary numbers in the NFL, really in L Sports, but especially in the NFL, I'm personally interested in my handicapping. So that's why I wanted to ask you first.
Yeah, sure, Drew. Just send me an email. I'll send them over to you, buddy.
All right, guys. And yeah,
I got to do them first, though, but I'll have it done today. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And check it out, guys. Sportsmemo.com. You can get the rest of his NFL college football season under $100. TC99 is the coupon code. And if you want, just email into support@sportsmemo.com, and we'll send you over his strength of schedule rankings using, like you just said, each week the game was played. Teddy, next question here. James Midley @Bill Clay on Twitter. Do you see this as a rare case where the public will be fading the Patriots in the playoffs? I'm wondering if the line might actually go down throughout the weeks, talking about the Pats line.
All right. It's an excellent question. Thank you for asking. The public has zero influence on these lines. The public might influence the Super Bowl line, but the NFL marketplace, like all the betting marketplaces, it's all wise guy money. And that's who controls the number. So if the money's coming against New England, that's sharp money that's going to move the number. There's not a book. There's not many books that are going to move the number based on public money. All that said, it feels like a two-way action game. It's not like the Titans have this huge betting bandwagon. They lost 2 of their last 3. It's not like people have forgotten everything the Patriots have done for the last 2 decades. It feels to me like a two-way betting action game. 4.5 right now. It feels like a 4.5. You know what I mean? I'm not convinced this line's you don't see a lot of these lines bounce in the postseason. They move and that's where they are. Sometimes you might see a little buyback later. The Patriots feels 4.5. And again, my power rating number is 5. with that extra home field edge. So we're not far. Do we see 4s in this game? I mean, we could. I'm not expecting one. And if you see one, I think it gets bought up. So, in answer to your question, no, I don't see a groundswell of Patriots support, but I also don't see a groundswell of anti-Patriots money. This is a two-way action game.
Okay. Good stuff, Teddy. Next question up, we got at Copper0404 on Twitter. This is Jose asking, when will the Super Bowl prop bets be released? I want first crack at them.
I can tell you exactly when they will be released. I shouldn't say that. You'll see props, or you'll see a handful of props early. The famous when do the Super Bowl props come out? That's like the Thursday night after. That'd be Thursday the 30th, I believe. Wait a minute. When's the? Give me 1 second. Thursday. Yeah. No. It's Sunday the 19th. Oh no. I apologize. It'd be Thursday the 23rd. Thursday the 23rd is when those going to, and so the Westgate's going to put out the big thing on Thursday the 23rd. That'll be in the evening. It's, I think, what time is it usually? 5. It's varies. Sometimes it's 5 or 6 or 8. I'm trying to remember, but it's that Thursday night. Thursday the 23rd. There may well be props available off. There'll be a handful of props before that, but that's the big, the giant coming out party here in Vegas when the Westgate releases that crazy package. Okay. And that's, again, for sure that comes Thursday the 23rd if they do it like they have in years past.
Okay. And that's something you recommend for anybody in Vegas to go check that out at the Westgate? Bet into
yeah,
those?
That's cool. If you,
okay.
I mean, if you've never been down there, it's a wise guy party. I mean, it really is. If you haven't been down there for that, you should go. Okay. It's kind of cool because, again, you hear us guys, there are a lot of wannabe wise guys. All right. Uh-huh. This isn't a wannabe wise guy party. This is a wise guy party, Okay. And you'll see, I don't know, in the range of, 50 different groups, maybe, that are involved and that are taking their first crack at the line. And you only get I think you get 3 bets, 2 or 3 bets when you get up there, limit bets. They only take $1,000. So, you got a couple guys from your group here and a couple guys from your group there, and they kind of go through the line. They have to go to the back, but it's a lot of fun. It's a little bit of a scene when they open. And now that the media is involved, the media is all down there too. So it's really a fun event to go to, and you make some bets and you can find some good info. I like to go down there because I like to pick the brain of some of the smart guys. Okay. Helps me a lot. So I expect to be down there that night. If I'm usually down. Last year I wasn't for some reason. I think something going on. But most years I'm down there, and I got a bunch of. I get to hang out with my buddies a little bit, and that helps me. So if you're down there, say hi. Thursday the 23rd, I believe, is going to be the date. With Super Bowl, it's 10 days out from the Super Bowl.
Cool, Teddy. Well, yeah, I'll definitely check that out and reach out to Teddy on Twitter at Teddy_covers. I'm on Twitter at Drew Martin Betts, planning on that prop party release at the Westgate. You heard it from him directly, Teddy Covers. We got 2 more questions here, Teddy, and we can wrap it up. We got Maxwell Smart, our friend on Twitter at Maxwell Smart, asking, will the Browns ever not make me shake my head at their weekly performance?
Yeah, and I just put that on my calendar, by the way. So. Ever? Yes. Someday the Browns will not have you shaking your head at their weekly performance. Someday the Browns will win a Super Bowl. Someday.
Okay. All right.
Now, he said, in your lifetime, yes, at some point in your lifetime, the Browns will have a good year and will not make you crazy. But do I guarantee it's going to be next year? I do not.
Okay.
But someday it'll happen. I'm confident of that.
Max is a young guy, so he might have some time in front of him. We got a college football question here for you, Teddy. National championship is set. 2 good teams. Battle of the Tigers here. SEC versus ACC. Saw a jump off of the opener here. Talking, of course, Clemson versus LSU. Saw it open at 3, actually, at circa. LSU -3. I believe they opened at -120 on that number, and we've seen it pop here to 5.5. We have 4.5 at Chris to 5.5 at other shops. So a little bit of opinion, I guess, in the move here. But Clemson LSU seeing 4.5 to 5.5 right now. Any opinion on where this line goes?
So I mean, what Westgate opened 3.5, Bookmaker opened 3, Penny opened 4, and immediately shot up, and that stopped, and now it's coming back down. So if you want, like, there's still a 6 out there with Clemson. You're not going to find that at kickoff, I don't think.
Okay.
I don't think. We saw the line shoot up, and now we're seeing some of the buyback here, and I'm not convinced we see it again. Although, again, LSU looked better than Clemson. Clemson didn't play a great game. LSU did. So the betting public tends to remember what they last saw. But I would anticipate this line closing between 4.5 and 5.5, which is where it is in most places right now. There might be outlier books that have LSU a little bit higher. I don't think it gets back down to 4. But my guesstimation is that 4.5 to 5.5. Total wise, I'm not seeing 69 to 70. I'm not getting a real sense of where the markets are going to move on this total either. But it's mostly what you see now is what you're going to get for this one. That's my guesstimate is 4.5 to 5.5. And again, it doesn't take much to move it from 4.5 through 5 to 5.5. It's not like a key number of 3 or 7. Where the book's going to hold there for a while. It feels like it's going to stay in that range right now. And again, the leading indicator books are pointing back down. So off that initial flurry. And again, this is the way it works. Line opens, the syndicates see all the money's coming on LSU, right? Someone bets LSU, boom. They just firing in bets on LSU. And then when it stops, they're like, all right, this is what we got. All right, we're locked in on LSU. Now it's like, now let's get our position. It's just about taking advantage of a marketplace that's moving as opposed to having a strong position on the game. You understand what I'm saying? They're locking in at numbers that aren't going to be there. And then they say, all right, now what do we do? I'm not convinced that was an opinion move towards LSU. That was a move to try to get ahead of the best of the number and a move to get numbers that weren't going to be there again in their respective pockets.
Makes total sense, Teddy. We got just a little bit of time here. I'd like to fire off a question for you. Do you think that actually 2 here, 1 in college football and then come back to the NFL? For whatever reason, this year they moved it back a full week. It used to be the national championship on the Monday, kind of 8 to 14 or 8, to about 11 days after the semifinals. Now we're going to have to wait until Monday, January 13th. I don't know what the reason is behind it. Really doesn't matter. But handicapping wise, does that change anything for you?
You know what the reason is behind it. There's only one possible reason: money.
What are they going to get more money on Monday, January 13th than they would on Monday, January 6th? Why?
Yes. Because of the way the bowl season plays out, it's like bowl frenzy, and then nothing. And then here's the national championship game. So they hype it. You understand? It's not in the midst of other bowl games with all of that. They get to hype it alone. It comes after the first, after an NFL playoff weekend with the Monday night affair. The only reason this game is this day is because they get higher ratings this day. That's why they did it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I mean, that's why, that's why it is what it is.
Okay.
It's, does it affect the handicap of the game? It's an interesting question. And I don't have an answer for you, right? Like off the top of my head. Like, does the extra time, like who the extra time help?
I would guess Davo because he's been there, done it before. But I mean, we just saw LSU crush, and it's not like Ed Orgeron has a bad resume by any means. He's learned under a lot of great guys that have great, bowl season success. I don't know if I'd put too much into it.
Yeah, I mean, who gets the edge off the extra time? I'm not. I mean, Clemson has dealt with it before, so there probably should be a little edge there. But is it quantifiable? Is it something I could say, all right, the number should be 5.5, but because it's the extra layoff, the number should be 4.5? I don't know if you can quantify it that way.
Okay.
I don't think it has a significant effect on either team.
And just quick question here. One, AFC going on Saturday, NFC going on Sunday. Is that normal? I always thought it was 1-1 on Saturday, 1-1 on Sunday. And also, do you think there's anything to, an advantage betting the away teams on Sunday? Of course, they all played this past Sunday, so they'll have a full week. Whereas maybe fading the away teams on the Saturday slate because they're on a short week, Teddy. And I'm talking the NFL playoffs here.
Yeah, so it is normally one AFC, one NFC on Saturday, and same thing on Sunday. So this year is a little bit different. I can't tell you why the NFL makes the schedule the way they do. Again, they're doing it as well because they want it all has to do with ratings and what's the marquee team on Saturday night, and that's a highly rated game, et cetera, et cetera. You can always tell which is the least attractive game because that's in terms of TV ratings, because that's the one they put as the early start game on Saturday. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's all based on its eyeballs and TV money and Tom Brady on Saturday night. That's why the schedule is what it is, even though normally it is one AFC, one NFC for Saturday, and same thing on Sunday. That's not the case this year. The second part of the question was, do you fade the team? This isn't a Thursday night game. You know what I mean? Where it's the road teams really have a tough time. In fact, the Saturday night dog has done pretty well over the years. Although that's it's not every year, but I don't see that an auto fade of the road teams on Saturday because of the shorter turnaround. Big difference between having 3 days of prep versus having 5 days of prep. For a postseason game, in my opinion,
Teddy, great pod, man. I'm telling you, opening line report here for the playoffs. Good stuff, man. Great information. Thank you all to the questions out there and for watching. All the listeners, it wouldn't be what it is without you. We appreciate it. If you're watching on YouTube, if you can give us the like button, the thumbs up, that does help us out. Any comments, we'll read them, we'll respond. And of course, we'll be back here next Monday morning for the divisional round. NFL opening line report playoff edition. Teddy, anything you want to throw out there before we shut this down?
Yeah, it's our last pod of 2019, dude. So I just want to say Happy New Year out there, guys. Be safe. Don't do anything stupid New Year's Eve. Go have a good time. And thank you so much. This pod is growing like crazy. I really appreciate it. Drew really appreciates it. So we're trying to build something here. So all the likes we can get, all the retweets we can get, all the follows we can get, all I can say is thank you. Genuinely. Thank you, guys. And best of luck in 2020. Let's kick some ass out there. Cheers, guys.
Teddy. Great stuff, man. Good ending there. And guys, with the coupon code TC99 at checkout, rest of his NFL college football season, only $99. TC99, the coupon code. Best of luck with your bets. We'll talk. We'll be right back with Mid-Major Matt talking college football bowls on the podcast. Best of luck with your bets.